Watching the Cannabis Broadcasting Group here at cbgtv.com. Opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Hi, I'm Timmy.
And I'm Mary Jane. He's the Noobie,
She's the Doobie, and this is the show
where we
tote
cannabis
talk.
from both sides.
Is that even possible?
This podcast is for adults only, should not be used as a meal replacement, and may contain nuts.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Noobie and the Doobie. My name's Timmy, and I am the Noobie.
My name's Mary Jane, and I'm the Doobie.
It is Best Friends Day, and on today's episode, we have another high five list,
Yeah, we also have our word of the week.
as well as a game of Noobie or Doobie.
Yeah, with our guest, Madison Banes.
So, as we were coming in today, we were talking about being Best Friends Day.
Yes.
And we have talked a lot about our different dynamics in terms of friends. Throughout my life, I have usually had kind of one good friend at any point in my life.
Yep.
My circle tends to be very small. I have a very small handful of that I would say I would put them in the really great friend category. I see very few of them, very few, like rarely, if not ever, because they're spread out all over the place. But I would consider them my inner circle. But as I was growing up, it was kind of like, this is my best friend, this is my best, which is the rule, really, because if it's your best friend, you should only have one. I mean, it's by definition your best.
Okay.
You have to rank at some point. But then we've also talked about how different you are than me, because I live in this very kind of like small circle, very rarely talk to any of my friends at all. In fact, that's how I keep it even, right? Because
I didn't even know you had friends. We were like dating for over a year, and you're like, hey, my friend reached out to me, and I was like,
you have friends.
huh? Yeah.
Yeah, but your story is very different. You actually have a best friend with four heads. Would that be a way to...
If I am the fourth head, yes. But I do have three very close women in my life that I probably do not go a day without chatting with.
I don't think probably is right. You don't go a day.
Well, I mean, with every single one of them, I should say. Like,
That's true.
I'm going to use their nicknames because we all have nicknames. I think I probably talk to Extra the most. Extra because she's just extra.
I need to come up with nicknames for my friends. Go ahead.
Your friend.
My friend.
Your friend. And then I think after that it would be Vanilla. Yeah, it would be Vanilla. And then after Vanilla it would be Classy.
Okay, all right. And that's,
or is that Sassy? I can't remember.
and
She's
that's how,
sassy
that's
with
how
some
often
class.
you talk to them. That's how often you would engage.
House Party has it's an app that actually has this cool tool that actually records how long you've been talking to these people. Consecutive days.
Right,
If you
yeah,
miss
yeah.
a day, you lose your timer. And I've been very
No.
disappointed because if we did not lose our timer, we would have over 10,000 minutes of chat time, just me and Extra alone.
I think I have 10,000 minutes of talking to all of my friends
And family.
combined and family
And children.
for my life. I simply, like you literally, like you said, you reach out every single day.
We wake up in the morning, we put on House Party, and if your friend is in her kitchen doing her dishes while her daughter is painting at the table and the other one's making breakfast or the other one's drinking coffee while doing their work, we're still hanging out together.
Yeah, see, if my friends, I hope all know, and the higher you are on the friend chain, you would know that, look, you're all equal. So I don't call any of you. That way you all know, right? Because if I just called one, then it'd be like, oh, that's his favorite. So I just choose not to call any friends.
Well, see, this is the beauty of House Party. You don't call anybody. You literally just open the app.
Yeah.
And it notifies your friends that you're there. It's like if you were to walk into the party room and nobody was in the party room, but everybody heard that MJ was at the party room, they would come.
Yeah.
And then you could chat with them.
Yeah, and you know how much I love phone apps, and
this is true.
I don't even.
This is true.
I literally turn off every notification on my phone. It's like, so even if a friend wanted to get a hold of me, they'd be like, I can't get a hold of you. I was like, yeah, my phone's off, and all my notifications are off because I hate getting in.
Well, I
bothered.
think girls and boys run at different levels of friendship, anyways. Like I had a friend video call me while she was in the doctor's office, like in the waiting room, waiting for a doctor to come and give her a pap test.
Okay.
Like women are that tight when it comes to like we share birth stories for frig's sakes. Men don't do that. They're not like, oh, I had to drive Sarah all the way to the hospital at 3:00 in the morning, screaming the whole way.
I would like to say that I know that that's not true, but because I don't have guy conversations, I don't.
You don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. But to all my friends who are listening right now,
please call Timmy with your your birth stories.
No, here's the thing. Don't call me. If you're truly a friend of mine and you're sitting there saying, because my true friends, they know who they are. So just
I don't think anybody knows your number.
No, look at me in the eyes. Yeah, I've probably changed my number multiple times. Listen to me. Friends, if you are a true friend of Timmy Boyle, do not call me. I'm busy. But go on to YouTube and like and share this video and comment and go on and download it on podcast form and leave a review. If you're my friend, that means a lot to me. I don't need to hear from you. I know who you are. We're good. We'll be good forever. Long-time friends. So friends, don't reach out to me personally. Just like and share my stuff. Thank you. That seems reasonable. That seems reasonable. That's a very guy way relationally to go about things.
It is. I feel like guys generally just have like one friend.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like married men generally have that one friend and it's their wife's best friend's husband. No? Is that how it works when guys get married? They kind of like lose their friend because their wife doesn't like their friend. Is it too many movies?
I think that all depends.
I don't know. I'm not married. So.
Well, listen, I want to do a high five, but I do want to just share this one very, very, very quick story because I had my best friend in high school. And
you're talking about Jim?
No. You're thinking about Gym Bag. Gym Bag was my gym bag. The strap broke. And rather than getting a new gym bag, because I don't buy new things, I dragged my books around the hallway.
For like 4 years, you said, for the rest of your...
Well, it was for a while,
okay.
And I just named it Gym Bag, and I just dragged it down the stairs with all my books in it, because I didn't use the books and read the books. But then people would say, oh, hey, Gym Bag, and I would drag Gym Bag. Anyways, but my best friend in high school, Jason Stremble, who, if you're listening to this, don't call me, just like and share this video. We almost didn't become friends because we went out to do this. I don't know why they test you at the beginning of the school year to see how fast you can run. We had to go out in the gym and run the track so they could find out how fast you can run, because that's an important part of education. And I was so afraid I was going to get beaten up at this school. Like, I cried. It's a whole long story. We can tell the longer story later. All I know is that Jason, who I didn't know at the time was Jason per se, he was trying to catch up to me to talk. And my time that day on the track was really good because I was like, this guy's going to try to beat me up. So I just kept running faster. I was running quick, and he was trying to catch up to me to say hi, and I was like, he's gonna beat me up. There's like people here to watch. He can't kill me. There are witnesses, but this is gonna get bad. And eventually he caught up to me. I don't know. I must have stumbled or something, and he was my best friend all the way through high school, and I still consider him a great friend. So maybe one day soon you'll share a video of mine, and then we'll talk.
You lie. You won't talk. You'll just see your comment or whatever on Timmy's page. He'll share it. He'll share it.
My true friends, including Jason Strumble, know they're my friends. And guys and girls sometimes, I guess, just have different ways to go about it.
That's true.
I was thinking, though, trying to blend once again the world of cannabis, which is what our show is about.
Are we doing high five?
We're gonna do a high five. Oh yeah, you love the high five.
I do.
Yeah, that's the high five. We need music though. We got to find a way to. That's the theme music. But anyways, we need high five music.
Kazoo.
Like David Letterman always had Paul Shaffer, who created music specifically for each segment. I feel like
We need a Paul Shaffer.
We need a Paul Shaffer. We need to find a Paul Shaffer to create music for each one of our segments. So
we'll have to put it on our.
Yeah, let's find our. We need to find a Paul Shaffer for our show. So we're gonna put the word out there right now. We need cool little. Songs. Anyways, for my high five list today is blending cannabis and Friends Day together, which is what often is what I try to do. So today's high five list is the top 5 stoner, non-stoner duos.
Okay.
So
one stoner, one non-stoner.
Yes or no. More like.
Well, is it yes or is it no?
No, the other one could be a stoner too, but this would be a pairing that you could put. So like Cheech and Chong was a stoner duo.
Okay.
The other guys, what's the other guys that are stoner duos?
Which ones? Are you
Just
talking about?
name a few.
Bert and Ernie?
No.
Harold and Kumar?
Harold and Kumar. Jay and Silent Bob.
Okay.
These are ones that aren't considered stoner duos, but would be you would probably think they both could be stoners and would probably be funny in a stoner movie.
Like Bert and Ernie.
Bert and Ernie is number 5 on my list.
Oh, okay,
Right?
okay.
You see how it works?
Okay, I do.
Right?
I do.
Because you could see
They could be stoners.
You could see Bert and Ernie doing a road trip in a stoner flick because both of them. I know you think Ernie's more like the pot smoker of the two.
I do.
But Bert sings about pigeons. It's something like is that just he's just obsessed? But I think he might be a stoner too because it affects people different ways.
This is true.
Okay, so are we all on the same page then?
Okay, Bert and
top
Ernie.
5 stoner, non-stoner duos.
Okay.
Bert and Ernie was number 5.
Okay.
Number 4 was Batman and Robin from the TV show.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that.
Oh, really? You need to go back and watch Adam West, Burt Ward.
Oh, like
from like the 70s, 60s.
Okay.
Okay. The original TV show. The reason why I say that is because it is so, like, I don't think, for example, Michael Keaton's Batman smoked pot.
Yeah.
But I believe Adam West's Batman smoked pot. And definitely the holy cannabis Batman, like that Robin, definitely.
I feel like whoever wrote and got those people to direct or like star in that were on cannabis or something because there's no way Adam West would make a good Batman. Like physically, I mean, he was not.
Yeah, he did. He was like
that show was goofy. It was silly. It wasn't like
it was
anything
worldwide popular. It was brilliant. Oh.
I thought I asked you if this was. You said this was like. I said, is it relevant? Like new. This like
everyone
Batman's
knows Batman
old,
and Robin.
They're like Adam West Batman. Okay.
Okay. Adam West is the second favorite Batman of all time. But anyways, if you watch that show, definitely a cannabis duo. Okay. What about the Skipper and Gilligan from Gilligan's Island?
Oh my God! What year is this? Is this from like the 60s? How old are you? What the hell?
Look. Okay.
Even Bert and Ernie was pushing it back to the 80s.
Listen, folks. Good TV. Good TV was better. Look, I can only talk about the things that I know, okay?
I'm sorry.
This is why I need my friends. This is why I need my friends.
Oh, quick, share.
Gilligan's Island, the Skipper and Gilligan, I think would make an amazing stoner movie road trip. I mean,
Okay.
just the two of them on the boat. We don't need the professor. We don't need anything like that. But just the two of them on a boat
Okay.
and smoking, that would be great. Okay.
I can't.
Okay. What about number 2? What about Pinky and the Brain?
Okay.
Do you know Pinky and the Brain?
We're going to the 90s now.
From
Good job.
Animaniacs?
I know Pinky and the Brain.
Now, here's the thing, though. Pinky, I think clearly a cannabis user. He was at least being, they're test rats anyways. So he was probably being tested with cannabis. That's what I think.
Okay. I think maybe it was Brain,
See, that's my point.
and that's why he was so smart.
I'm not surprised that you brought that up because that's my point. I think both of them,
They were both being tested on cannabis.
I think Pinky and the Brain were being tested for
that would
on
make
cannabis,
sense because cannabis is not right for everyone.
right? And it affects you differently. But both of those characters makes me feel like they could be a stoner duo
Okay.
for different reasons.
I'll give you that, but that's just because I know really who Pinky and the
Okay.
Brain are.
Number 1 on my list of Timmy's high 5 stoner, non-stoner duos is Calvin and Hobbes.
Okay, so the 90s.
Do you know Calvin and Hobbes? Calvin and Hobbes was the greatest comic strip ever written.
Okay.
And
Is that little guy that's on everybody's pickup truck?
yes, the guy
That is
peeing?
that is not something a stoner would do.
No, but that is not the character. None of that stuff is endorsed by the man who created Calvin and Hobbes. He has no
Oh, so-
merchandise out there.
Nowhere in the books does Calvin ever pee on anything.
I don't think he pees on anything.
Oh.
But
I thought he was just a little
now here's the
deviant
thing.
little boy.
I don't say that little kids should take cannabis. I'm not saying that he is a cannabis user, but the
It's okay for
tiger,
Hobbes.
the tiger that he sees could be a cannabis user, and the fact that he sees a tiger.
I don't think that's cannabis.
So I'm saying that Calvin and Hobbes could be, despite the fact that he's a kid. I think if you put them in a stoner movie and made him a little older,
Hmm.
funny stoner movie.
It would be funny,
Okay.
but in cartoon form,
I
not
don't
in one of
think-
those like real life animated movies.
I mean, there were others. Like I had SpongeBob and Patrick, but that seemed obvious. You know, Tigger and Pooh. You know, both of them seem like stoners to me. You know, Scooby and Shaggy is.
Oh, that's an obvious.
That's obvious. I didn't even want to go there. Fred and Barney. Number 1, they're from the Stone Age, so I thought that was a stoner couple.
The Stone Age.
right?
That's funny. I would probably go for Betty and Wilma, to be honest.
It's possible. Well, if you're watching this, you put a comment down there. Who would be on your list of comedy stoner, non-stoner duos? So
they're not stoners.
they're not stoners,
but they might as well should be because they look like it.
If you put them in a stoner movie, nobody would think twice.
Yes.
That's how I should have described it.
Oh, kind of like Pee Wee and Herman.
I think they're one person.
Ugh.
Yeah. How old
I knew
are
that.
you?
I knew that.
Sorry, I think I yelled really loud there.
I think that was me.
I think I yelled really loud. All right. So-
all right, that was a good high five list
no,
for
I don't
the
think
90s.
I don't think you were, for all the 90s
for
people
everybody
out
who was
there.
born before 1970.
Okay, fine. Throw out one now that you would consider recent.
You know I can't do that
Why?
because it took me weeks to prep these cards. I can't just pull something off the top of my head.
Well, I did a lot of work onto this one, so that's my top 5 list.
Yeah.
Like it or hate it. Not everyone is a winner.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Okay, fair enough. Come to my defense, 90-year-olds, or not 90-year-olds, 90s, 80s,
No.
60s. Okay, fine. There were some 60s. Fine. We're going off track.
Okay, speaking about something relevant, let's
Yeah.
get to our word of the week.
All right.
Our
I
word of
swear
the week.
people think I smoke too.
You might as well. I mean, maybe it'll just give you, open your mind a little bit, just like the new things.
Oh, I think my mind is fairly open.
Oh. All right. So our word of the week is cannabinoid. Have you heard of it?
Cannabinoid?
Cannabinoid.
Did I say it right?
Cannabinoid.
Cannabinoid.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I actually, fun fact, I have to spell it on my cards with a K, not a C, because if I write a C, I want to say cannabinoid
Fair enough.
because
Yeah.
I'm used to saying cannabis. So.
Right.
Cannabinoids are one of the main compounds found in cannabis, but it's also found in humans.
Okay.
So there are phytocannabinoids and endocannabinoids. And the phyto is plant, endo is human. We have an endocannabinoid system within our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, what happens when we take cannabinoids into our body, they work like little keys going around in our body looking for the right lock. That's part of the endocannabinoid system. So when the right key finds the right lock, it unlocks it in the CB1 and CB2 receptors, and it gives you the benefit of whatever that cannabinoid is. So, for example, THC is a cannabinoid that is psychoactive.
Okay.
So, THC helps with certain
So
things.
CHC is a cannabinoid.
It is a type of cannabinoid, yes.
Okay.
There is many different cannabinoids like CBD, CBG, CBN, THC. I mean, I could go on and on. There's like 66 different cannabinoids.
Okay.
And each of them, like I said, go through your body searching for the right lock, which is the CB1 and CB2 receptor. So the cannabinoid is looking for the right receptor to find. It's like if you had a million locks and you keep sticking that key in those locks, and eventually one of them will work. And yeah, it plays a huge role. The endocannabinoid system plays a huge role when it comes to the entourage effect, because each lock is different.
The science. See, this is the stuff that I wish people had talked about. All I heard was weed bad.
Yeah.
And nobody talked about the whys and the hows and the, like the science behind it. It was just weed bad. And I think that's a horrible way to look at it. And that kind of actually leads right into the guest that we're about to bring on.
Yep.
Because I'm fascinated with her story. And that's why we have her here, because she's somebody who uses cannabis, but doesn't just talk about the fact that she uses it. She is very open about the reasons behind. And so I'm very excited to have our guest on today. Do you want to introduce her?
Yeah. Let's bring on the beautiful Madison Banes.
Madison Banes, everybody.
Woohoo, Maddie.
All right. Madison Banes is in the house, or in her backyard. I guess that would be more appropriate.
Or front yard. We don't know.
Porch. We'll go with porch.
A porch in an undisclosed location.
Too bad it wasn't a Porsche. Maddie's
Yeah, right?
Porsche.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us this morning, Maddie.
Pardon?
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, what do you want?
What do I want? Why
Well,
did I
here's the thing.
ask Maddie to be a guest on our show? Is that what you're asking?
Well, I am asking that, but I already know the answer, and I guess I just want you to know that when we first thought about putting this podcast together, MJ was told to put together a short list of who were the must-haves, and you were on that list. So that tells me she thinks very highly of you.
It's true.
My soul sister. I appreciate that.
You know, I met Maddie. I think it must be 2 years ago, because we didn't do anything last year, right?
Longer than that.
Really?
I've been out in Peterborough for 2 years. So it's been, I want to say 3 or 4.
Okay. So it's been a while. And ever since I met you, I absolutely fell in love with you. Not just because you're gorgeous, but because of your story. Just sitting and listening to you talk about your passions, I was like, I need to know this girl more. So that's why I was like, we need to bring Maddie on the show. Especially since I've met you, you've kind of shifted and done a little bit different in your life, and you're creating new opportunities for yourself, we'll say. And I'll let you talk about that, because I want you to tell your own story. But I just want to say, man, how far you've come, lady.
Thanks. I really appreciate that. Yeah, so I I've been working with Naked News for the past 7 years, which has been a lot of fun. And about 4 years ago, we decided I finally got a Naked Ghost Pot segment, and I got to dive even deeper into the cannabis world as cannabis became legal in Canada in 2017. But for me, cannabis has really helped shift my own issues towards addiction as well as mental health. And so that's kind of what pushes my passion to kind of spread the word and support people in their own journeys of recovery and mental health and the idea of cannabis and using cannabis as medicinal purposes.
So I don't know if you're aware, but obviously by the title of our show, The Noobie and the Doobie, I'm a non-consumer. And we've spent a lot of time talking about kind of both sides of our personal journeys. And it's interesting when you talk about how you're coming out of a life of addiction and you're using cannabis to help that journey. Growing up how I did within the church, that would have seemed impossible. You wouldn't use what would be seen as an addictive drug to help you with addiction. So talk to me about how and why that works and why cannabis can be used. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? The perception is that that would be impossible.
Totally. And, I think that's an issue that not only would stem, I could see in religion, but also in like 12-step groups. I think a lot of people are familiar with like 12-step groups, like Alcoholics Anonymous. And there's also like Narcotics Anonymous. And those groups also really push towards abstinence and not using anything because anything is a mind-altering drug. My view is like coffee is mind-altering. So if we drink a cup of coffee and we're, that can actually change how you're feeling. I think the point around cannabis to help with addiction is the fact that cannabis is a hallucinogen. It's classified under hallucinogenics, and hallucinogens have been proven not to be addictive. So although there are studies and arguments that show that cannabis can be addictive, it's more so not the actual flower that is addictive to the human. It's the habit of smoking that becomes addicted. We actually don't really go through a withdrawal. So like an opiate, if somebody's using opiates on a regular basis, when they stop using those opiates, they get a withdrawal. The withdrawal can be super awful. And it also changes the chemicals in the brain. The human will be a totally different human. With cannabis, just like with psilocybin, which magic mushrooms, they're classified as a hallucinogenic. So that addiction property is not the same, if that makes sense.
No, it does. I think it's funny how, and I can only speak from the religious world in which I came from, where they would preach against, drugs and cannabis in that whole thing. And yet right after the service, everybody would go downstairs for fellowship time, load up their plates with sweets because nobody wants to talk about the addiction to sugar, and then have 5 cups of coffee while we all talked about the amazingness of God, and yet we would push aside drugs.
Oh yeah, the wine.
Right, and we drank juice in our church.
That's funny.
Are you being serious?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I love her face. She was like, "Wait, what?"
All of my Catholic experience, like I grew up Anglican, so my parents are Anglican, my grandparents are Catholic. I've done a lot of religion studies, so I feel pretty that's my biggest thing. It's okay to, do all of these things, but it's not okay to do these things. And I think that the biggest issue with I don't want to say religion, because religion is not an issue. I think it's the ideas behind the lack of knowledge. And I think that's what's really coming to the forefront now, is that people are willing to talk about things and allowing themselves to open their mind a little further to other alternatives and other ways and other ideas and thought processes and perceptions. Whereas before, I think majority were just going on what they were told, what they were connected to, like, and realizing that there is a lot more help out there, and so many more things can happen if we don't just stick in that little bubble of, cannabis is bad and it's a drug and it's all these other things that aren't going to be beneficial, because as the world is proving more and more, even today, like more so today, is that it's just not true.
Mhm.
And so we all know alcohol is worse for you than cannabis. So in that sense, I always found it really interesting that everybody's so happy to just start giving children through their what do you call
Their
that?
soother.
No. When you're at church and you go for your
For
Is
the
it
communion?
baptism?
No, it's communion.
no, it's
Oh, see, I
no,
didn't go
but
to
yeah,
church.
when you go up for your communion, everybody goes up for communion once a service, and you break bread and have a sip of wine.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember an age limit being on that wine.
Well, actually,
So,
interesting fact, at least here in Ontario, a child is allowed by law to drink in their own home if their parent is the one that gives it to them.
which is hilarious, because like isn't that the breeding ground for alcoholics?
And what if my 17-year-old wanted a joint? Can't happen. It just can't. It's not allowed.
It's not, no. You have to be 19 to smoke.
Yep.
What-
Or
I think what you're saying though is it's not so much saying no or yes to things. It's more about the education process of going, like, if we're going to talk about addiction, then we need to talk about addiction with coffee and sugar and weed
Totally.
and everything. Don't just go cannabis is bad, coffee is good. And then you've got a child who is completely cognitively messed up going, I don't understand. They both cause the same problems, but you've said this one's no, this one's yes. There's no reason. It's just people saying, because I said so.
well, and that's, I think that's the biggest problem, is people aren't asking questions and doing that research for themselves. They're just listening to what's around them. And we also have to keep in mind that cannabis is not the answer for everybody either.
Mm-hmm.
It may not work for some people, and that's okay, because not everything works for everybody. But to keep that mind open that it could work for people and it is working for people, I have to reference a cannabis shop that was open in Hamilton that was doing a lot of great work with harm reduction.
Yeah.
And handing out bags of weed to humans that were struggling with opioid addiction, because methadone is fucking dangerous. But yet, we're putting everybody on a methadone and calling it a day and letting everybody walk around in those cases, when maybe we could try weed for a couple of them, try a joint or two, see how that works. Why don't we just try that first? Because there are alternatives. And I don't agree with saying that, you're substituting one thing for another. It's you cannot compare opiates to marijuana. So I don't think it's a substitution. It's a lifesaver, in my opinion.
Well, it would be like saying substituting, I don't know, trying to breathe water to breathing air. We need air, right?
I think
we
breathing
need
water
cannabis.
will kill you.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you were to take enough of the really heavy, drugs, then you would also kill yourself.
So So Maddie, what was your journey then in terms of, I don't know if you want to talk about the specifics of your addiction, but obviously you have a religious background too, which is a huge barrier for a lot of people. But then you come out of that, and how does cannabis become the solution? Like what was the door into you gaining that knowledge?
I don't feel like cannabis was the solution. I think it was a tool to, for management, for sure. I think that in my deepest part of addiction, I'm now like 2 years sober off of drugs and 6 months sober off of alcohol. And I think the biggest thing is relearning how to live without substance. And that in itself is a huge change. So to be able to smoke a joint at the end of the day instead of have a glass of wine, or was less damaging for my own being. It also didn't throw me into this pit that I wasn't able to manage complete abstinence, and I just kind of went crazy and felt like I didn't have a tool. My anxiety is very real, addiction or no addiction. And my anxiety is very real. So I think being able to smoke and learn my new habits through a tool that was safe really gave me the pathway to make changes and keep those changes going. I mean, I've gone from smoking probably a quarter to half an ounce a day to less than a half quarter, you know? And because I don't think that cannabis is the solution, I think it's a tool. I totally think it's a tool to help find a solution. And it allows the brain to start working more than if I was high on cocaine all the time, because the brain doesn't work, or drunk all the time. And it's because the brain. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the way you broke it down into it not being the solution, because a lot of people would say, oh, it's that substitutory thing. It's like you found the solution to this problem, and say, well, no, it's just it's one piece of what is probably a very long journey, and probably a lifelong journey.
100%. Like, nobody's gonna, I don't think that smoking cannabis is gonna fix all of your problems. I mean, if you got problems, they're still gonna be there when you're not stoned. But for me, it just allowed me it allowed me to meditate easier. It allowed me to relax. It allowed me to take myself out of myself. And that's what hallucinogenics basically are meant to do, is to give you new perceptions. And if I could take it even further and move into how we're looking at magic mushrooms now, this cannabis works the same way. It opens up your brain to new perception. So when you're stuck in some depressive hole and you personally don't have the mind strength, mental capacity, tools, understanding to bring yourself out of that hole, wouldn't it be magical to be able to have something that just kind of opens the door just a little bit? Like, you have to push that door open, but it opens it just a little bit for that possibility that perception can be changed. Because usually when you're in a state of depression, and alcohol will not do this for you, let me say that straight now. All it does is drive you deeper into your own feelings. It does not open new perceptions. And that's a straight fact. So when I say open the door for new perceptions, that is marijuana.
You know, that's interesting, because what I'm hearing is that people drink in order to like forget and numb the problems, where people like maybe yourself, maybe I'm not getting it right, but it sounds like maybe you would smoke to open your eyes to the situation and actually try and solve it to make it better on the other side.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. So thank you for nulling that down for me, where I just
No, I love it. I'm glad I could understand it because I take a long time to understand some things, but good thing I'm cute.
You are fucking cute.
Thank
And
you.
you are smart.
See,
Um,
fishing for compliments.
I think of all of my own friends who, you know, who do have addiction issues and they do drink a lot. And when they smoke weed, they get paranoid. And it's like, yeah, you get paranoid because you are starting to think about things that are uncomfortable, that you drown with every other type of drug that you're doing. So, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. And that's why they can't be compared. You cannot compare the two. It's just, it's ignorant to do that, I would say.
Well, I've
As
certainly
in, like, unknowing, not like you're stupid, ignorant.
No,
Right?
not stupid.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Totally.
I just wanted to clarify that because I know growing up, a lot of people would use that word ignorant and people would think that you're saying rude, just unknowing.
right.
Yeah, which is still kind of
Unknowing,
rude, but
totally.
Well, I've really
I
appreciated.
don't think so. I think it's almost-
sorry, we must have a delay.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
delay.
Maddie.
No. I was just gonna say I don't think it's saying rude. I think it's just actually giving somebody room to learn, right? Like if I understand that you just didn't know and you were ignorant, it's a pass to me.
That's true. I
If
think
you knew
ignorance
it
is, I was just going to say, ignorance is rude if you refuse to learn, right? Like, if you don't understand somebody else's perspective, fine. But when you go, I'm not going to try and even educate myself, that's rude.
it is totally.
Well, I've really appreciated following you online because of the fact that you touch your story along the way. You have like there's times where you just kind of sit in the chair and kind of share. It seems like genuine. I mean, you never know on social media what is real and what is not. But there's a lot of people in say, not to pigeonhole you into the cannabis space, but in the cannabis space, you just got a lot of people showing themselves smoking, and there's so much stigma and misinformation out there. It's refreshing when somebody is going, okay, here's the story behind it. Here's why. Here's the reasons. Because so many people that I knew growing up would have just looked at the in general stereotype and go, all these people do is smoke, and nobody would ask, well, why are they smoking? What is the reason? And so I appreciate what you share every once in a while online.
I think it's called,
Thank you.
is it Mondays, Maddie, that you do the talk?
Mental health with Maddie, I've been calling them. Sorry, my chihuahua wants to bark with everything.
That's okay.
Mental health. I'm glad you said that they seem genuine because they really are, and they were actually the most nerve-wracking thing that I have ever done because it's funny because like I've gotten so used to being naked places where people are like, I'm so scared to be naked, and I'm like, I'm so scared to talk about anything real on the internet, like so.
Wow.
I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's like, well, being physically naked. Actually, if you think about it, I mean, it shouldn't be mind blowing. Being physically naked is way easier than being emotionally naked, and I think that's why we see way more nakedness physically than emotionally, because people, hide that stuff.
It is very true. Very true.
So,
And everybody, yeah. And
was cannabis though a part of your early life, or was this something that just came on later on?
I didn't start smoking till I was 21, actually. So I actually didn't start doing any drugs till I was 21. I drank a lot when I drank a lot when I turned 19, I guess. Like all us Canadians do. And then I didn't start doing drugs till I was like 21, which part of me feels like I was looking out for my growing brain. And I was like, you know what? Let's not fuck it up too much. So we're going to wait till you're practically developed, but not completely. I don't. And then from there, I think I smoked weed. It was my first thing to do. And that was because and I started smoking because it calmed me down. I was dating somebody who wanted to sit and watch movies all the time, and I couldn't. I couldn't do it. I was like, I don't know how anybody does this life. Like, what do you mean you want 3 movies in one evening? That is fucking insane. Like, I danced my whole life. I played sports. Like, I was never home. You want me to sit and watch movies for 3 hours? So he was like, you want to smoke some weed? And I could. All of a sudden, I could sit there and I could eat food and like things were fine. And I think that was the first thing. My anxiety and like my ADHD was my first medicated situation, looking back now. And then other things happened, and weed's always been part of my journey, but yeah, it didn't start till I was like 21.
I like that you like thought about your brain when you were growing up. You're like, no, I'm gonna like wait a little bit, because that I didn't even consider that was going to be, you know, someone handed me a little pink butterfly and said, it'll make you feel good. And I was like, okay, you take it first. And then she took it and she was fine. So I was like, sure, I'll take it. And, I mean, I didn't think about my brain. I thought it would still be there in the morning, just the same as it was the night before.
I love it. Which I think most people do that. I was weird. I was a really weird child. I was really against drugs too, and like any type of anything when I was a kid. So it's really funny that then I went into like a 15-year rabbit hole of.
Well, it probably makes sense though, right? Because you were so, you know, we'll just say pure.
Yeah, I wanted to learn.
And now you're just like, I'm free, like the, you know, tearing off the alter ego, or so to speak.
Yeah, I pulled a Britney, I guess.
So what was the basis of the I'm not going to do any of this? Was it religious?
No, it was never religious. I was never, as much as I grew up religious, it never had me sold, to be honest. I was never really sold on religion. My mom would be so mad right now, but she knows.
We won't share the link to the podcast with her.
Yeah, she's a Sunday school teacher. She's a beautiful human. I love her. But it was never religion. It was more so your body and your mind. And like, I used to think that people that needed to escape reality were weak. And like, you know, you can't just live life. I used to steal my uncle's cigarettes and break them. That was me. I was like, why do you want to kill yourself for? I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know why I had this like super love for my health and body and mind when I was a child. I'm trying to get back there. I don't know how I lost it. But yeah, it wasn't religion, unfortunately, I guess. I don't know.
Well,
I feel bad when I say that talking to
Talking what?
Talking to you.
Oh, talking to me? No. No, I think mine was a mix between religion and just, I think, like you're saying, we don't know where you get that respect for your body and your mind. I was like, and to this day, I've told MJ, I don't want to mess up my brain. So religion kind of like, well, you also don't want to go to hell. But there was another part of me as I grew up older and older, I was just like, I want a clear head. I don't, and I didn't feel I needed to escape from everything. I had, I feel pretty happy about having a pretty good life, and if you were to put a definition on it, and I just didn't want to screw this up. So I think that's an innate ability that some people have that is completely separate, whether you were in the church or not from the church. You just got this sense of going, I don't want to mess with this.
Yeah, I just want to add that my thought process of being when I was younger, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to take this and whatever. And that was the wrong thought process to have. Like, I am extremely fortunate to be able to sit here and have this conversation with you guys and be coherent.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
And I think
Well,
the
there's
other
things-
reason you didn't consume or do anything wrong is because nobody offered it to you.
Well, that's true. Yeah, for some reason, like the whole world of peer pressure, I didn't have a single friend in my life who ever offered me alcohol or drugs. They all just maybe knew that I was confident in who I was, that I would just be like, nah. And people seem to kind of prey off of the weak, I guess. But it was just never in my, I never, to this day, it's just like, why would I drink? It makes no sense to me.
I don't know. I also think that to preying on your weak comment, Tim,
Mhm.
I feel like if anybody is in a situation for long enough, it doesn't matter how strong of a person you are,
Mhm.
you get very things become very normalized,
Hmm.
and they stop becoming this like taboo idea. So when I was younger, the friends that I had, they never did drugs, they never smoked weed, and they rarely drank. And then as I got older, like, I was always the person that I was like, I will never have sex for drugs. I would never have sex for money. I will never I'll never date a boy that beats me. I'll never do drugs. And then by the time I was like, 30, I could mark all of stuff. Ace. And Ace. Sorry.
I knew it was
And
the little one.
by the time I was 30, I could knock all of those off my list. And it wasn't for the lack of like me being a strong human, because I feel like I was always a strong human. It was like shit just kept going and shit just kept happening, and things and life happened and choices happened. And I think that sometimes you're not ready for the things that life throws you, and because we are human, we can only take so much.
Yep.
Yeah. And to answer Timmy's question on he doesn't know why anybody would drink, it's the same reason why people recreationally use cannabis. It's for the buzz. It's for the fun. It's like a roller coaster. So some people enjoy going on roller coasters.
Oh no, I understand why others did. I personally,
Yeah.
I don't even understand my own journey, but that's why I try not to judge other people's journey, and that's why I appreciate when people are open enough to tell their story, because everybody's got a story. I don't know, what things played a role genetically, environmentally, whatever it may be. My journey's my journey. I don't even know how I got to where I got, I just kind of did it. So my story is my story. Your story is yours. MJ's is hers. And that's why I feel that nobody can say, oh, don't do that or don't do this. You just got to be honest, tell your story, and realize that a lot of the times we don't know how we got to where we got. It was just life.
It is. It's like totally. And I think that we're all on our own. All on our own journeys of life. Exactly that. So.
Yep. Well, I'm excited that you are in that space of I don't even know what you would call it, healing, whatever. I mean, your sobriety, obviously, you perceive it as a positive thing. So it's amazing to see that you are coming out of what you would, I guess, consider a bad place. And I just think you emanate a positivity. What I've seen online, you emanate that. You, like I said, I didn't mean it as a knock to say you seem genuine. You come across to me as a genuine person, a person who has gone through some difficult roads, and we all do. They all just look different. And you're coming out on the other side as somebody who is encouraging to me, and somebody who I can sit there and honestly say, hey, people, you should be following Madison Banes, because these are stories that need to be told by people who are being real and telling them.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. and I didn't take it offensively at all. I was that was nice to hear, honestly.
All right.
Instead of like, can we see your ass?
You glitched for a second. All I heard was, "Can we see your ass?"
Oh, okay, never mind.
Wait,
I was just checking to see if we still had time for the.
wait, I want to hear what she said.
Oh, I said no. That comment was very much appreciated. Other than the random normal comments I get, like, don't even watch the video. They're just like, "Can we see your ass?" Like,
You know what?
so
We actually had this discussion. We both follow a female radio personality in the city that we live in. She does yoga. She does like a multitude of things. And even the videos, just like your, mental talks with Maddie, the guys are not even taking a minute to see what the video is about. Could be a picture of her and then a donkey for all they know. And they're putting like, ooh, yeah, baby, marriage material right there.
Yeah, it drives me crazy. Not just with her, and I'm sure, like you just said, you get those too. It drives me crazy when I see, and it's usually, I'm sure it happens the other way. Well, I'm still waiting for a woman to make some sexy comment to me on some video I do and go, oh, she just found me attractive. That's cool. But I completely, it bothers me so much to see these guys who watch a video of somebody sharing their heart and then throw in a bunch of heart emojis and fire emojis
And
eggplants and saying, "You're so hot," and it's like, were you not listening? Like, do you think she's gonna put down her phone now and go, "Oh, I gotta call this guy. That's awesome. He thinks I'm attractive."
He sent me 3 eggplants.
It's so annoying. I can't imagine being on the other side, although, like I said, one coming my way might be appreciated.
I'll throw you an eggplant.
Thank you.
I'll throw you 2.
Perfect. Follow me at The Real Timmy Boyle. Can we...
No, it's... At the end of the day, though, I feel like if it's... In the land we live in, sex sells. And if that's what somebody is going to see for the first time, maybe the second time they'll actually listen, and then I have to keep that silver lining or that thought in my brain, or I would literally go mental. And because it is fucking annoying. And so I just have to remember, like, okay, Maddie, like, he said that today, but next time maybe he'll be having a bad day and what you say is really going to help. Like, because I can't. I try not. And, people are like, why don't you answer people on Instagram? And it's like, I can't. I have to. I put out the content because I feel like it should be there. And it's hard for me to stay there to interact because half the time those comments are just, yeah.
Yeah. The reality is, don't read the comments. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if you, like, I'm an emotional person and like you say, put something out there to help somebody. I don't want to get hurt in the process. So. No.
And I think when you're putting out content like that, you need to have that awareness and protect yourself in that way, Yeah. Obviously, you have to be real with yourself and understand that this is the world we live in. And unfortunately, even though we're making steps to make those changes and hopefully they, arise with change, we still have to acknowledge the reality that is. And you can either sit there and be mad all the time, which I have had days where I'm just like, fuck, man, does nobody listen to a word I say? What if I talk with my asshole? If I started a YouTube channel where I talked with my asshole, would people listen to me?
You could Ace Ventura it.
I don't know.
I feel that.
Go to OnlyFans.
I feel that all the time with comedy. I try to, like, and I'm not very good at social media. I don't post very often, but I try to, like, work on something that I think is funny and I put a lot of time into it and I post it and it gets like, 3 likes and a couple views. And then somebody posts a video of some guy kicking another guy in the nuts and it goes viral. And you're like, what kind of world do we live in? Like, why did I even make that video?
Yeah, it's crazy.
All the drunk people are drunk.
Yeah.
Watching the videos that are what drunk people do, because only drunk people kick each other in the balls.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty convinced based on what I've seen that no cannabis user has ever gone to another cannabis user and say, "Hey, can I kick you in the balls?" I don't think that's happened.
No, not at any of the things I've taken you to.
We'll be pretty confident in that. Do you still want to play a game with her?
I do. I want to play a game of the Noobie or the Doobie.
Are you up for a game, Maddie,
Okay.
to finish this off?
Okay, so the rules are fairly simple. The answer is going to be the Noobie or the Doobie.
I'm the newbie.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Who is most likely to forget where they have parked?
The Doobie.
That is incorrect.
No, I don't even know where my car is outside this building right now.
You didn't drive. I did.
There you go.
Who is most likely to post a photo of themselves topless on social media?
The Noobie.
That is correct.
Correct. Multiple times.
Who is likely to go the longest without eating?
The Doobie.
That is also correct.
Correct. Wow, you're doing good.
When you forget to eat.
Yes. Okay, if they chose to visit any fictional place, who would choose Willy Wonka's factory?
Both of you?
No, that would be me.
Yeah, I would choose the moon.
Yes. So who has never seen the movie Titanic?
Tim, is that
It's
you?
mind blowing.
What's that?
Have you seen it?
Who, me?
Tim, have you seen it?
I've never seen it. No.
I seen it like
Yes,
4 times in the theater.
I was gonna say, it would be very shocking if this was MJ, but I don't know.
And I don't plan on starting now, I'll tell you that.
I cried every time. Every time.
You need to see it at least once. It's
He will see it. I guarantee you. I'll make it a stoner flick or something. We'll see it.
No.
Okay.
You have to see it at least one time.
And the last question, which I think is the toughest of all myself, but who has never eaten sushi?
Ah,
I love how seriously she's taking this game.
oh my God. MJ, have you not eaten sushi before?
I have not. I have not.
Oh, I think that's a point for me.
That is a point for you. And I say Maddie wins.
That's funny.
Oh, that's fun. That was fun. Well, thank you for playing.
Thank you for playing with me. That was great.
No, and thanks for telling your story. And I really would encourage everybody to follow Madison Banes on Instagram, all the social medias. Your links will be in our descriptions of podcast or YouTube. But we really do appreciate you coming on today and talking about cannabis, but also not that you use it, but why you use it and the story behind it.
I appreciate you guys. I think what you guys are doing right now is so cool. Thanks for letting me be a part of it.
Thanks, Maddie.
You're welcome. And I can't wait till all of this is like over and we can actually hang out because it's been way too long.
We'll all watch
I
Titanic
know.
and have sushi.
Yes. It's a
I
date.
can't believe you've never had sushi.
No.
So funny. Like, what do you mean? I don't even know. Like,
I've been busy.
Titanic was weird enough, but I think like
The
that's-
sushi thing, that's where it threw you, the sushi. I was too busy eating little tiny pills, okay? With butterflies on them.
That makes you angry. So I guess stick to what you know when you are.
Right.
Thanks, Maddie. Go get some rest. Hope you're feeling better.
Thanks, guys. I know
Cheers.
the dogs are going mad. See ya.
Well, that was fun.
She's fantastic.
She is fantastic.
She's fantastic.
I feel like a winner already.
Now I'm getting these echoes in my head here. Yeah, no, so happy that she was able to join us on the show. Obviously, she's got quite a journey, but like I said multiple times during the interview, it's I didn't say this during the interview, but it's the reason why we're doing this show.
Yep.
Right? Like it's not so much about, hey, everybody, let's just tell you about the scientific things of cannabis or
hey, everybody smoke weed. No, we don't.
no, it's just about like, let's hear the stories. Let's hear what, like when we'll be sharing obviously, more about your story and my story that will come out as we interview other people as well.
Yep.
And I think that's the number one problem is that it's not that people are oblivious to the existence and the use of cannabis, but most people are oblivious to the stories behind the use of cannabis and why this is important to people. And it isn't just because, hey, I want to get high, it's a Saturday night.
Yep, I agree. I'm glad she came on.
I am too. Is that it?
And with this, we close.
and with this, we close.
It doesn't sound right when I say it.
No, you have to. And with this, we close.
I never went to church.
You should have.
I probably should have.
Well, that's another episode in the books.
In the books, Timmy. Good job.
My name's Timmy Boyle.
And I'm Mary Jane Baker. Stay lifted.
And keep on laughing.
Did we
I
get it?
think we did it.
Yeah. We just...
Cannabis Broadcasting Group here at cbgtv.com.